Are you ready to run your short-term rental business like a superhost? If so, look no further than Guestie for Hosts. Guestie for Hosts offers listing management for all three major OTAs, Airbnb, Booking.com, and Vrbo. With Guestie for Hosts, you can create a branded direct booking website in minutes. I've been able to hit 61% direct bookings in my business and automate daily tasks such as communication with cleaners and communication with guests. Click the link in the show notes to get an additional $20 off your first month.
Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
of Live,
Let,
Thrive. What's up, Myka, man?
I'm chilling, Stevie Stacks. How you doing?
Oh, doing good. Getting prepared for Snow-mageddon, Ice-mageddon Part 2 in Texas.
Did you get your firewood?
No, I didn't get any firewood.
No firewood.
But we're on the same, luckily, if it happens again, I'm not sure, but we're on the same grid as the fire station here where we're at. So none of us in this whole neighborhood lost power last year because I guess, emergency services, they had to keep the, power going to them. But anyways, you never know what's going to happen. You should always be prepared. But we are back, man. We are at episode 193 of your favorite Airbnb, VRBO, home away, Uber, Lyft, all that share economy, fun stuff in the world. And we have someone joining us. I would say guest, but he's part of the show. Honorary member, Federico. What's up, Federico?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Man, how you doing down there?
Yeah.
Doing great. Enjoying the summer. You were talking about that Snow-mageddon. I was just thinking, first of all, here's beautiful, weather is nice, but then I was thinking, man, when it happened last time, we had like 2 properties. Now we have 40. What are we gonna do if it gets bad?
Man, dude.
Yeah,
that's true, right? We only had a couple properties back then.
Yeah. Now, are all y'all 40 in Dallas?
Well, not in Dallas, but I'll say 39 were in Texas. So, I mean, the other one that we have is Michigan. They're ready for that. They're built for that. So we don't even that. It's funny because we're telling every guest. We tell our BAs or to let all the guests know. Remind them of letting the faucets drip. I was like, don't tell the people in Grand Rapids. I mean, that's built for that. It's Texas, so we need to let them know. So yeah, we're sending reminders every day, cleaners and guests, everyone, to be aware.
Yeah, I sent my messages out today too. One of our friends, he was actually going and dropping off firewood to his guests. I was like, that's a smart idea, because you never know what's gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we were bouncing guests around last year trying to get them to units that actually had power. I remember that. Yeah, so it was, but it was only a handful of units. It was like 2 or 3 units, but now it's like 40. We just have to turn our phones off and wish them the best.
Man, so this Snow-mageddon Part 2. I don't know how bad it's going to be, but hopefully it doesn't happen as bad as last year, and we can, have some happy guests.
Yeah, man. So what's new in your world, Myka?
Oh man, so I'm supposed to close on this duplex on Friday. Once I close on that, I'm gonna try to sell it. After I sell that, then I'm back to doing BRRRR strategy. And plus, I got a rehab going, a management project, a new man. I got to tell you guys about that crazy shit. I got a rehab project going. I got another project where we're getting my friend's house. My friend's house is up. It's like a 3,000 square foot like house on a lake with this big balcony in the back for like parties and stuff. And it's this big ass house, right? So I'm calling around. So my setup team's ready, but they're like, dude, we got to clean this place before we set it up because like if they got to get all this dust down. So we called around, man, to get a cleaning quote. I'm getting all these crazy prices, right? I'm like, one lady saying, hey, I'll charge you $300 for 2 rooms. I'm like, what the kind of is that? I'm like, man. So I said, hey, forget it. I called some, other type of people who maybe have cheaper prices, man, so called this guy, I'm thinking he's going to have cheaper prices. He's like, let me see the house. He comes over today. My sister meets him there because it's all the way in Arkansas. And he's like, he was like, before I was talking to him, he's like insistent on seeing the house. I'm like, you don't just give quotes, like, hey, it's 3 bedrooms, 3,000 square foot. He's like, no, I want to see the house. So he comes over. And then he wouldn't tell my sister a price. He's like, I'll just call Myka back and let him know. Man, the guy calls me and says $3,800 for a clean. I'm like,
No.
so the guy who I'm managing it for, he's like 3,800. What, for the whole neighborhood? I'm like, you said for your house. So we were like, man, hell no. So we sent it another quote to another lady, which hopefully it comes back. But because it is a big ass house, and my sister was like, it's gonna be expensive, but she was like, not $3,800 expensive, but it's gonna be expensive to do a deep clean on this house because it's a big ass house.
Jeez, that's in Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's one of our first Lux properties. It's gonna be a luxurious property. Like, it's big as hell. These big, huge columns in the yard, and then this big ass, massive yard with the huge. Like, we can host weddings there, stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're trying to get this thing up. So that's one of my projects in the rehab project, and closing on that duplex. How about you, man? What's going on in Argis world?
In Argis world, you want to talk, Fede?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of things going on since the last time I was here. I mean, we've been growing like crazy, getting new properties to manage, getting new points and new dots in the map. Again, we were in Houston, but we had another property there and another coming up soon. We added Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is doing pretty well. We're excited about that market. We hired finally people that are doing a great job. So I think that was one of the big lessons in 2021. Is the value of hiring good people. Yeah, definitely it's paying off right now. It's finally I'm able to put my phone down for a little while, do all the stuff. Finally going on vacations after a year or something. So that's exciting. And it's just fine-tuning our systems and focusing more. Right now, I'm looking to focus more into pricing, fine-tuning pricing, leads, getting new clients, getting new properties, all of that part with Steve. So I think together we're gonna, just make something huge.
Yeah, this past week I picked up 2 Grand Prairie house arbitrages.
Nice. So, you arbitraging them yourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So we got to get those up and running. More streams of revenue,
Yes,
and as Fede was talking about VAs, right? And so here's the cool thing. We went after VAs that actually had experience with Airbnb. I think I mentioned that before. Whereas before we're just like, okay, we'll get some cheap ones and we'll train them Airbnb. But this actually been a lot better. They've had like years of experience in Airbnb, all the PMS systems, all that stuff, right? So it's been great. They've been catching on really quick, and then they've been also like suggesting things to us that we should do, how we could do our business better. I mean, I told Federico, man, these chicks are smarter than us, and but that's I mean, a smart only a stupid business owner hires people that are dumber than them, right? Always hire up. That's what I'm realizing, man. Why hire people that are dumber than us? Hire people that are smarter than us, and so that's been really cool. And it's funny, also we give ourselves payouts in the business, right? We give ourselves like the partners, we equal payout. And it's going to be to the point where we got like a superstar VA, and then their salary is going to be higher than our payouts, right? But our business is growing and the pot's growing. And I was trying to explain that to Fede, but the business, we own the business. We're getting payout, we're taking some money out, but I think Fede was a little jealous. Says, well, she's going to be making more of a payout than I make. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa, that's a problem. I'm always on that.
No, but here was the it was he had made sense, and I thought about it too, and I was like, okay, check this out. How about the next few arbitrages that we pick up, we keep 100% of that money, And I thought that would kind of motivate us to work harder and get more units because all the newer units, this is going to be 100% that can go into our pockets. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just into the pot. and then that pot goes to run the business, and it goes to maybe get another property. It's cool, but it's like that pay yourself first kind of thing, right? The profit first kind of thing that you're
That's what I
reading
was
about.
to go with this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets frustrating if the business is growing, but we're not, our payouts are staying the same. We kind of do have to up that, right?
And the other thing is that I was telling Steve, I also quit my job after 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really happy about that. I mean, it was scary. I mean, really scary to make that decision. I know you made it a few weeks ago. I think we did it at the same time, Myka. So yeah, December 30th was my last date. I had a very good career that I made in the airline industry, but it was like, okay, art just is my future. This is our baby, and it needs 100% of my attention. So it came to a point where it was a no-brainer, but still was scary, and of course, and what's happening right now, and I think it happens to you and anyone that is just quitting the 9 to 5, is like, I don't want to make any mistakes. I don't want anything to go wrong, because this is 100% of my livelihood right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the scary part, because you need to if you want the company to grow, you're gonna make mistakes, and you need to let things, just run and things happen. But it's scary for that reason, right? So that's the other thing that I'm personally dealing with right now.
Man, I got a few things to touch on, man. First off, I know that fear factor, man. When you're 100% dependent on it, trust me, because last month was one of my worst months on Airbnb. I had so many people canceling, and we had people canceling because of bad cleanings. So we had to work with our cleaning team to make sure they were doing spot checks on the cleans, things of that nature. And then we have the slow Houston units. And this was my first month. I took a huge loss. I was like, how do I bounce back? But all this stuff, man, I just know it's mindset. I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm reading this book called Relentless, and man, it's been helping me. He's like, you got to find a way to push through no matter what. You can't be like, basically, this is the dude. It's written by Tim Grover. Tim Grover is the guy who trained Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and Dwayne Wade, 3 best shooting guards of all time. And he said, it's all your mindset, bro. You are enough. You're everything you need. You just have to unlock it. So basically, I had to go through those struggles. And right now, I paid the price on the first, but I'm like, forget it. I got to keep on going. So yeah, man, I know what you mean. But those setbacks are nothing but learning lessons. That's all they are. Once you look at them like that as learning lessons, and you don't fall into, oh man, I messed up. Just look at them as learning lessons and keep going.
Yeah,
Real.
definitely.
Here's one thing we've learned too, and so like Fede, he fires people sometimes, right? Or he sends an angry message at them, kind of lets them go, or things go a different way. But he does it sometimes before we get our monies. Next time, I told him, we got to get our monies first, and then you can bitch him out all you want, man. Then you can fire.
No, wait. Okay, this is something, I was waiting for this time, because I hear Steve saying things about me, and it is pretty cool, as a business relationship. When Steve mentions things that go in the company, I listen to a podcast, like, I can't reply to him and say, hey man, listen,
Sorry,
this is not. But it's good, because it makes me think that and think about it, and maybe, hey, he has a point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually that's pretty cool about listening to a podcast and listening to Steve saying things about how we're running the business. Now, one of the cleaners, you asked me to fire her, and you're like, get rid of her. The one that you saw the door smoking, vaping inside the apartment. Remember that one?
Becky,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
shit! I mean, whatever cleaner that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the other one, we just need a refund. And she's not processing the refund. Yeah, something, going back to a recurrent topic, cleaners, something we learned is happening, has been happening often lately, is that we start with a new crew, and they go to the job and they do really well the first 2 times, and the third time they send another person that works for them, and they totally, messed up the cleaning. And it happened twice in a row, man, in one of the Houston houses that we have.
The high-end
like-
house, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
3-bed, 2.5 bath. So, we start with this new person. She did an amazing job. I mean, we sent someone to check after her twice. It was great. third time, and we sent again someone to check after her. Total disaster. We call a previous cleaner. She did a great job the times that we worked with her. But what happened is that once she saw in turn Airbnb, we didn't have a check-in the same day. And she said, okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And we got a last minute booking. So we had to find someone last minute to clean. So we stopped working with her for the reason, right? So we needed someone. We called her back. She came twice, did a great job. Third time, we got a guess that he asked for a refund as soon as he came in. And he sent pictures, and it was bad. It was really bad. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to go tomorrow. She didn't go. And at that point, I asked her for a refund. She was like, I don't know. And she said, I don't want to work with you anymore. I was like, yeah, I mean, don't worry. I'm not going to call you back, but refund the last cleaning. I mean, I had to refund my guest. But no, never heard back.
Yeah. So now on your cleaning company, because one thing I've learned, like when they go themselves and do it, the head cleaner, they do a really good job. They send in, like Steve said, the B team. What we did was we started working with the cleaning crew, right? The cleaning company. So what I said was I started working with the head cleaner, and we just said, look, how do we help you grow your business? You know what I'm saying? And we even talked to them about spot checks, and she said she would spot check it, herself. I'm like, that's probably the perfect thing to do, and then I started paying them $20 for every 5-star cleaning. If it's 5-star, here's a $20 tip, you know what I mean? And that might be the head cleaner's gas money to go spot check it, whatever she can use it for. So we just started doing stuff like that. But yeah, those spot checks are very important. And then when you're interviewing the cleaning company, what I find is, talk to them about their growth. Like, do you plan on growing this company? Is this a side hustle for you? You don't want the side hustle person. You want the person that, is wanting to grow a company. And that's what I've found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing is sorry, go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead.
No, the other thing is, try them once, see how it goes, and then start assigning other properties. Another mistake we did in the past is just, changing cleaning companies and, here's my business, here 5 units, go ahead, do them. And maybe you want to work with one team a couple of times in one property. And if they do well, start assigning different properties. Because we had this guy that, we did an interview. I remember I prepared, I was like, we were growing really, really well. I was like, I want to impress my new clients. We were at 8 properties at this time. We were taking number 8 and 9. I was like, I want to impress these people. I want to make sure we do great. I interviewed this guy. He had his company and, the t-shirt with his logo, the company name or whatever. And I asked him like 15, 20 questions. I had prepared everything. He nailed it all. I was like, man, this is going to be great. And then he totally messed up, and he was like, well, I didn't thought you actually have this amount of properties. I thought you were BS with me. I was like, man, I told you I needed I told you what? So yeah,
what I found is I suck at hiring. So with my VA company, the reason what attracted me to them, someone gave them to me. They're like, what this company does is they're a VA company, meaning they have a bunch of VAs and they fire and hire them based upon their performance. And so you don't have to do it. They'll go get the VA for you. So I hired them on, and they started Wednesday or what's the day? Yeah, they started Tuesday, yesterday. And they've been doing a really good job so far. And if I have any problems, I just go to the head VA, and the head VA talks to that VA. If that VA can get it done, they replace the VA, which I'm like, damn, that's pretty cool. But this guy's been doing really good. We've been communicating via Slack. He has access to the cleaners, access to Airbnb. I'm going to get him access to Guestie, but he's been doing pretty good. And one thing I will say about hiring VAs now that the last episode we interviewed Kent, right? And Kent said, hey, I'm getting all my VAs, processes, systems in place. So then I can hire one VA, then hire another one. That is the most powerful thing, because I realized after I hired my VA team, my operations are very complex. And I was like, dude, I had to create so many training videos on Travelers Haven, training videos on Furnish Finder. But I got them all created, and the guy's catching on. He's talking to the people on Furnish Finder, and it was quick. I was like, I'm pretty happy about it so far. But yeah, I will tell people, before you hire a VA, document everything you do in your business. Create a video on Loom or screencast, whatever, and always have that. And create a repository and put it on. I put mine on Google Drive under training videos, and they just have access to everything. So that's my tip to people as well.
Yeah, and what I did, I use Notion. I don't know if you're familiar with that app.
Mm.
So Notion is like it combines all of these apps that are out there, Trello and Monday.com and many of those.
Mhm.
But it's building by blocks, and what it has is that it takes a little bit more time to get started because it's too free for you to design whatever you want. But you can create different type of databases. You can embed all type of documents, videos, looms, everything, and you can create your custom website for your company, right?
Mm.
So it's amazing.
What'd you say it's called?
So Notion,
Notion.
Notion.
Okay.
So basically, here what you have is you open and you have like a white page, right? And then you do a slash, and you're gonna have a drop down with all the options that you can create. You can create a title, like a header, or you can create a database or a calendar, or you can create so many things, right? And from there, I started building all that goes into the company. So you open that, and you're gonna have you open Notion. You're gonna have like the landing page, and it's gonna be divided in different parts. And you have policies and procedures, and the SOPs, and you're gonna have lead generation. Let me actually put it up until exactly. But I mean, my girls are impressed. They're like, this is so helpful because I have the videos, but I also have it explained step by step how to do specific things.
Okay.
They can put comments in there, and we're all gonna see it. We have databases to follow up what's going on, for example, in the properties regarding of maintenance, supplies. So everything that comes up is gonna be added there. Man, it's so helpful.
Here's what I love about the most. The girls love it, and they're catching on to it real good. And whereas me, when I'm heading to a unit to go fix a lock or fix something something small that we don't need to send, like, we don't need a $500 handyman fee, or to go do something, whatever. I sometimes I'll be in the truck and I'll be like, hey, could you send me the codes to get through the gate in the door real quick? And I'll put it out to the VAs, and the VAs will go straight to Notion, right? And then they'll go and they'll give me what I need to to enter the place or whatever it is. And so I really don't have to. I mean, it's good for me I'm familiar with it a little bit. I can pull up some stuff on there. Actually, one of the VAs made a whole spreadsheet of all the properties for me with every single, with all the instructions, how to get in, how to do whatever, the gate codes, all that stuff, and lock boxes. So that she made that, and Fede just showed her with a few properties how to do it, and she took it from there. And also, what's really cool, I told a VA, hey, could you put, I made a loom on how to go to these portals of these apartments and then submit like maintenance requests, right? And so I made a loom how to do that and put it on there. So now they know how to do it. Anyways, I just thought of something the other day because like there was a couple of units that needed some stuff, needed some maintenance. And so I told them, could you put in the maintenance request there? And I said, oh, what also helps is when we send an email to Cecilia, the manager there. I've always done that. I just forgot to put it in the loom. I said, hey, new procedure, please email this email and say, hey, we've put in work requests for these 2 units, whatever. And then thank you, whatever, and send the email. And so I sent that to, I guess one of our VAs that was working in the morning. And she went ahead and put that in Notion that it's a new procedure on one. So she was able to, I didn't have to go to Notion. Fede didn't have to go to Notion. Now the VAs know how to put something in that we want them to use over and over again. And then I asked the other VA later if they put in the request, and she goes, yeah, and the follow-up email because the previous VA told her or put it in Notion that's how we do. We follow up with an email. I was like, oh, cool, man. I just throw it out there.
Automated.
The VAs can tackle it now. It's so freaking cool.
Man, how much are you paying these VAs? $5 an hour?
Between 5 and 8.
5 and 8. Okay.
Yeah, but it's worth
it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Yeah, if it's worth it, you get what you pay for. So I mean, that's really.
That's a lesson, man. That's a lesson. It's like you get what the value on people is incredible.
One other question. How are y'all communicating with your VAs?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I remember Steve mentioning in the podcast. Like he loves Slack, and he uses Slack, and he loves using Slack. he's using it with a different reason. He was using it as a database, and that's why I was going crazy with Slack. It's like he was not using I don't want to bring. We have a phrase here in Argentina. Like, I don't want to bring personal things into the podcast, of course, right? But that was funny. It's like he was like, "Yeah, I love Slack. And he said, "But Steven, you're using it for database. And
For database,
for chat."
it's easy.
And it's
It's
like
easy.
you put but if you put something there, you gotta scroll up and go back to see what's the latest version of something. But here's the thing.
You told me to put things in Slack. This was your idea, and I fell in love with it. I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
It was my fault.
And
I
then
love
because
Slack, man.
but I don't use it.
I
I don't use it probably like Myka uses it. Myka uses it to communicate to everybody. This and that. We use WhatsApp like Slack. Yeah. So it's to me, it's a database. It's a place I dump everything, receipts to whatever and payments to cleaners, whatever. I dump it all in Slack, and then it just has it easily accessible in one place. But now we're Fede goes crazy with that.
WhatsApp,
No, but it was my fault. The thing is that we needed a place. I want to make things easy for everyone, right? Especially for Steve, because he's driving, he's going around, and for me it's like, okay, I try to automate as much as I can. And nowadays, before you need to know how to code things. Now you have so many no-code apps, JotForms, Notion, and all of these apps where you can set up systems to run automatically. And I know Steve is, he's on the run, and I want to make things that he can, make 2 clicks and get information. So that's the thing. Is like trying to find that perfect thing where if he's paying for something, he can take the picture, upload it really quick. But yeah, I mean, Notion is powerful. WhatsApp is powerful.
The reason why I like Slack is because you can literally do everything in there. Like, I mean, like your VAs, like, okay, if there's a loud party noise going off, you can connect Slack to your minute system, and your minute system tells the VA, and then your VA already knows, and then everybody in the group knows. The cleaner knows, the VA knows. And then, like, let's say on your cameras, right? If something's going on, someone's lingering or something, extra people coming into the camera, you can connect it to like Irritable will collect it to your Slack, and then everybody. That's the only thing I love about Slack. I'm like, you can connect this shit to anything, and it's like everybody will know. So that's my thing I love about Slack, man. I love Slack, man. That's what I've been using to communicate. And it's been working pretty well. And then, like, remember how I was telling you the company, the VA I'm using, he comes into my Slack, but his manager's always also there too. So his manager's in the Slack chat with him. So it's been pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, my only thing with Slack and other apps, the only challenge that I found, this is the only challenge really, is getting people on board that are not from your team. Getting cleaners on board, getting owners. Sometimes we for the management that we do, just getting them on board in WhatsApp sometimes is a challenge. Because they don't want to use some. Yeah, there's some owners, some of the people we manage for that they don't use WhatsApp. They don't know what it is, and it's like, oh, another app to communicate, and there's some resistance in there. It happens with that. It happens with the cleaners. Some cleaners is like, no, we use Telegram. And, we just put it as a condition now. It's like you gotta get a WhatsApp, and that's it. That's where we communicate.
Yeah.
But adding another app, it keeps adding and adding.
Once you learn how to automate one communication app, then go for it, and then, you do got to, I let them know, like, hey, this is our company policy. We use Slack or we use WhatsApp to communicate, because that communication thing is one thing that's like, even my team in Arkansas, since I just got my VA on, I still have to get them fully onto Slack, because what they do is they text or email me, text or call me. So I'm like, I got to start moving that over to Slack so that my guy can handle it, No. Yeah. And then those SOPs are important. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's another challenge when you have different properties with a different operation, and you have different policies and different, SOPs for different places, and just try to have something. That's something I think about all the time. It's like, I cannot have so many exceptions for so many properties.
Yeah,
we have to try to run things on a way for. And it's a small things, but some things come out of intuition, because you said, I don't know, for example, you can offer the one extra night. If they want to late check out, tell them to block an additional night for this much. Like a special deal. We're gonna give you an extra night so you can check it later, and we're gonna give you a discount. And you think, she's giving, I don't know, $30 off. And you think, but we have houses, right? And it's not the same. And then you start thinking, it's like, okay, how do I write down a system, an SOP that is applicable for all of my properties. I think that's a challenge. That's something that you need to sit down and think about. It's like, okay, whenever you write down a policy, is it applicable for every place that I run, for all the teams and the crews that I have?
Ooh, that's a good question. And you know why I say that? Because I have houses and apartments. So basically, I have a spreadsheet of houses and a spreadsheet of and apartments. And what I did, though, to make it easier, like I said, what amenities are what at what apartment, like at what house, like the apartments usually have the same amenities, a gym, a pool, whatever. But the houses, some have backyards, some don't, so you got to kind of start, breaking it down. And one thing is having like a property spreadsheet is really important. Like, hey, this property has this, and this. That's a huge thing on that. That is for sure.
And I have the property DNA. That is an idea that I get from Get Paid for Your Pad. They mentioned that. And I thought it was a great idea. It's like property DNA. So I created that because here's a struggle. I'm in Argentina. I'm not in the properties.
Mm-hmm.
I also explained that to Steve. And for anyone out there that's looking to hiring someone, one of the most frustrating part from being remote and never been to a property is when you get a question that is stupid, but you don't know the answer. especially if you're answering on behalf of the owner, because it looks like the owner never been to the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember one that was super stressful. They asked me, "What is the switch for the garbage disposal?" That little thing, it freaked me out because I don't know the answer. And I don't want to bother on a Friday night the owner, right? So for your BAs out there, seriously, it's like try to give them, all the videos that you can. I always just tell Steve whenever he goes to a property, it's like, you have to make a video of every single corner. I don't care if it's a white corner, just go make a bit of that so I know that there's nothing in there, right? So what I did in this property DNA is like, I broke it down in different sections, but for example, thermostat. I look in the thermostat, I uploaded a picture, and I look for the user guide online. I put it there. I look for videos on YouTube on how to troubleshoot it, and I put it in there. So basically, they know how everything looks and how to troubleshoot every single appliance and thing you have in the house. And that's it. So the information is there, but you have to take the time to sit down and write that down. Again, things may be logical and things may come up, it's like, yeah, this is obvious. But again, for someone that never been to the house or the property, it can be really frustrating.
Man, that is the quote of the year. When somebody asks a stupid question and you don't have the answer.
There are some very stupid questions, uninformed questions. I guess a lot of places are used to, people that are still used to hotels. They pick up the phone. Hey, how do you do this? How does the remote work? Where's the batteries to the remote? Because some hotels are like that. What I'd like to get into a little bit is the other day we had like I don't know, it was an eye-opening thing we went through. It was like a Silicon Valley interview.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I'm happy y'all brought that up.
And so yeah, we had someone introduced us to these guys, the Silicon Valley guys, a friend of all of ours, and they said, well, they're building out this thing, and they're going to need a management company to come along and either work internally in the company or externally, a partnership, whatever. So we suggested you guys, because y'all are great. We're like, oh, thank you for that. And so we did a Zoom call with these Silicon Valley guys over there in Silicon Valley. And we're like, okay, so we figure they're gonna ask us about our company, how do we run things? How do we run a property? What do we do if stuff happens? Do we have, handyman? And we thought it was gonna be that type of interview, right? So, the formalities, introductions, how you doing? So-and-so said great things about you. Okay, so here we go. All right. So what do you say? So how do y'all assess the numbers to find the perfect property and the perfect city and this and that? And how do you, just that questions like that? What is your lead time for properties? What are your projections? He just asking all of it was data. All they cared about was data. They didn't ask us one thing about, what happens if a party breaks out or some shit like that. They didn't care about anything like that. They just wanted to know how we got our data and what kind of numbers are we doing and what kind of numbers can we do for them if they give us, 50 properties tomorrow. That's all they cared about. Nothing to do with management. Just, hey, can you make our money grow? How can we know? What do your numbers say? How do you know where a great spot to invest is and what city and this and that? And we were like, I mean, they were talking a different language, man. It was just this high paced, picking us apart, man. I was like, holy crap. And we were answering the best we could. A lot of them were just, like I said, we were answering as best we could. We weren't prepared for that kind of interview at all, right?
Yeah. We didn't know what to expect as well on the call, because we thought it will be more of like, hey, I have this property to hand you over, how you will manage it.
Money talks, bullshit walks. That's how Silicon Valley looks at it, man. Hey, see, but there was one question they asked you, and I was like, that is the best question I have heard in a while. And I think that is a question that is going to be the future of STRs. You remember what question that was, Steve?
I do remember. You can go ahead and say it.
Yeah, they asked them, I think he said, how many rentals can Dallas sustain 50 more rentals?
Yeah. If we were giving you money to start 50 arbitrage or whatever, he goes, what kind of numbers could you give us? What kind of numbers could you promise us? All that stuff. He goes, but even, could Dallas sustain 50 new Airbnbs in the city? And that was a great question. Like, we didn't have the answer to that. I don't know.
That's a good question, because we got to start knowing shit like that, because
right.
I've heard people say when 10% of the rentals in your city become STRs, it's going to become saturated.
Mm-hmm.
That could be it too, because what I noticed, I'm going to use the Houston market, for example. I don't know if we've talked about this on the cast, but the guy, basically this dude in Houston was charging $85 a night for a 3-bed, 2-bath house. Right. And people were pissed at him. They're like, well, why is he doing that? He's watering down the market. Houston's super slow. If you go to Houston, I think it's like over 1,000 listings just in their medical district, like 1 bedroom, 1 bath, which tells me, okay, the problem with Houston is, one, they don't have regulation. So anybody can get in. Okay, that's fine. Now you have everybody getting in, right? So you have these listings where people, they can't make money, so they'll rent out a 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment for 40, 30, 35, 40 bucks a night. You're running a cheap Motel 6, cheaper than Motel 6 operation. So people are getting mad because this dude's listing his huge ass house for like 85 a night. But he has this huge ass cleaning fee. Now he did have a cleaning business, which he makes money off of too. But I was telling people, I'm like, one lady got on and said, yeah, he buys all his properties. He gets his properties creatively. I'm like, this is what I've said a long time ago. I think we've said this probably in the episode, probably before we even hit episode 100. I said real estate in America is going to get dangerous when real estate investors start getting into short-term rentals. Because remember, arbitraging, you ain't really investing in real estate. You're investing in cash. You're investing in a cash on cash return. So when you start getting people doing BRRRR strategies where their mortgage is really low and they can price their property at 85 a night and still make spread. See, that's when it gets dangerous, because now your 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment ain't that attractive to the 3 bedroom, 2 bath house. And a lot of people think he's losing money, but I'm like, that's where the problem is. There's a disconnect in your knowledge of real estate. People have to start getting back into knowing real estate. Go listen to your bigger pockets, understand real estate, understand how it works. Because remember, if you're paying premium rent because for as long as America's been around, what's the best reason to buy a house than keep renting? Because I can eventually get my mortgage to come down, and then therefore my mortgage is as much as your apartment rent, my mortgage payment. So I think that's what's happening in Houston right now. I think it's just it might be a better market to buy properties in, using the BRRRR strategy or whatever creative strategy you want to use, and you can make a little bit more money, and you can wash out the 1 bed, 1 bath oversaturated people. But that's how I looked at it.
Yeah, and Houston is getting tough. And there's something about markets that I haven't studied economics. I'm not a genius on that or anything, but there's something that there's cycles. There are cycles, and I think when a market gets saturated, some people are going to jump out of the market, and that's another good point to be there. We come from the airline industry, and I always remember when there was a flight. Suddenly there were 2 flights between Iceland and Northern Texas, right, to DFW. So the big carrier over there say, okay, if you're putting 2 flights, I'm putting another flight, and they're running on a lose. They were losing money, but those 2 other airlines were out of the market in the next year. So you're pushing people out of your market. I do think that's something's gonna happen after the slow months. I think there's a lot of people are gonna drop off the market because it's unsustainable. I was running numbers on the price of dashboards. It's like, man, I mean, we did good, we did better than the rest of the people, and we still did not great. So that was a little frustrating because you compare and you say, okay, we didn't do bad, but it's not what we're looking for. It's not what we're expecting.
Yeah, I'm considering pulling out of the Houston market too. It's one of those addition by subtraction type moves. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this unit, and then plus some, and then you get the issue now where you just have shitty property management. They don't want to do stuff when you do the maintenance requests. So it's like, is this really where I want to be? So that's another thing to consider because I'm thinking about pulling out of the Houston market myself.
We had a microwave handle broken for a month already, and we put the work order. I don't know how many times.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy down there. Because but I the only reason I'm sticking right now. It's funny, we're just on here and somebody just booked one of my places in Houston for a month. But the crazy part about the reason why I'm in Houston, and I'm kind of like, maybe I should just hold on. It's so many people selling their furniture in Houston and getting rid of places. I'm like man, maybe it helps with the saturation if they quit. You know what I'm saying? Only the strong survive. I think what's Steve's favorite quote? What is it? The rising tide ship. What is your favorite quote about the rising?
Yeah, the rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, and some ships, man, they're already underwater, man.
I think they're done wrecked, man.
Yeah, they're over with. So,
and that was my point. I mean, at some there's gotta be a point where it's unsustainable for people. It doesn't make sense. So if you can hold and just, I'm not saying breaking even. I mean, just making a little bit of profit in these some months, and then when the summer comes, I mean, it's like a lot of people are gonna die during the winter with those properties. Yeah. It's just it is how it is, and that's what we're expecting in even in Dallas, in the properties that we are, because I mean, talking about stories, I mean, we picked some properties that are really bad in the buildings where we're in, right? So I don't know if I can change the subject into that a little bit, because that was a big learning lesson. Most of the management that we picked up is mouth to mouth, which is very strong because people, or clients
word of mouth. Sorry. Yeah, mouth to mouth is could be a
yeah,
show.
That's another thing. Sorry, guys. English is not my first language. I apologize. And I think things in Spanish. So in Spanish is mouth to mouth. It's boca a boca.
It's not mouth to ass though. That's
How do you rate this podcast?
Warning, parental advisory.
Yeah. So, anyways, our clients have been, word to mouth because people are happy with the service we're provided. Now, I was looking into the market where we are. I was looking at the neighboring properties. I could, you can tell who's in the same building you are. And I found this, these listings. Or some of the saddest listings I've seen. The worst pictures ever, no description, cheap rates. It was all bad. Honestly, they're in the same building. And this was my thought. Our guests are complaining about the neighbors we're getting. Probably those neighbors are coming from them because they're mismanaging and they're letting anyone in. So I text them and say, listen, if you need any help, let us know. I mean, this is how you can find us. Let's see what you got. We did a few calls. They had 9 properties, and they were, man, I don't know how they were putting people in there, like the worst of the worst. It was really bad. All the properties had big maintenance issues. Big, like I'm not telling you, like small thing, like something was beeping in the kitchen. We're talking about mold and things broken, like a cabinet door missing, things like that. It's like, how are you putting people in there? So yeah, we're helping, and we've been trying to make them work, but we're gonna pull out of those. Now I'm thinking, what happened if we would have let them just try to keep running them? they will fail, and we would have been able to pick those properties for ourselves. And that
So
would have been another option.
that brings me to two things. One, whenever you're doing a search, we probably need to go for higher rated properties on Google. So if you go a Google search, because I'm in a property, man, they're like a 2.8 or a 3 on Google. But we've been keeping them full, but people do complain. One lady got her carburetor. You basically got her carburetor stole off her car. Another person got their whole car stolen. It was like, oh shit, man. It's like, damn, and this is a part of Dallas that used to be like known for being prominent. But that review rating on Google's very helpful, because then you see what people are actually typing and saying. Like, we looked at the reviews on this apartment, man. People just dog this apartment out. Like, management sucks, shit all in the hallway. Like, they're going off on Google about this apartment. So that is one thing to look at, is look at the Google reviews. The Google reviews are very heavy. And another thing is, when we are going to these apartments, man, two things. First, right to refusal is important. Make sure, hey, nobody else can operate here. And the second thing is, we got to learn how to syndicate, man. And I know me and Steve have been talking about it. We've been shooting apartments back and forth to each other.
Yeah, man.
That syndication piece is huge, because then you automatically have the first right to refusal. Somebody come in Airbnb and you kick them out, and you keep the business going, and it's your management company in it. So, and I think that's the future of short-term rentals, is having that owning, but having control is starting to come to an end. It's going back to owning and having control. So,
speaking of, and I was thinking about this, I was like, man, after Thanksgiving, or, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, great holidays, right? It's wonderful, good profits and all that stuff in the Airbnbs. And then January comes, and it's bleak, it's cold, not a lot of people traveling, it's a little bit down. But
we had Omicron in the first weeks.
Omicrons, all that.
And
crap.
now people are forgetting about it.
We're done with all that. Anyways, I'm starting to love January the best. My favorite month, and this is why. Because it's always been the best month to go house shopping, right? There's houses that have been sitting, in the spring and summer, they're gone in one day, right? They're already 5 contracts on them. Right now, I've seen them sitting there, and I've actually seen a few price drops going on. So our real estate's always been a great time, is January, right? Even leading into January. But arbitrage hunting, dude, hunting arbitrages right now, no one's moving right now, right? Because they're not going to wait till the school year's over to move. And so, like I said, I picked up 2 Grand Prairie arbitrages, and right down from the stadiums and great locations. Big houses, and at a decent price. And so I'm like, man, this is if you're gonna save your a nice chunk of money for any month, I would save it for January, because that's the time to go either house shopping or arbitrage hunting, man. It's
and that's when we got a few last year. Last year we got a few of those in January as well. January, February.
Because no one's out looking for houses right now, or no one's out looking for to rent, to move, And so it's a great time to pick up some arbitrages.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because one of the properties you just picked up in Grand Prairie, I was looking at the Zillow ad today, and there were 2 things that got my attention. First is that it was advertised like 2 days ago, so you picked it really quick. And the other thing is that the pictures, because it's winter, I was looking at the backyard and the front yard, and it's like, hey, that looks depressing. But yeah, it's winter. They took the pictures a week ago, but in summer and spring it's gonna be beautiful with the green grass and all the trees blossoming. So that's gonna be a killer. But if you look at the pictures now taken in February, in January, it's like, not that beautiful.
Yeah, that January, that's a good plug, man. Good time to pick up arbitrage. That is a really good plug. Yeah, you can't beat that as long as you can get that good rent price, because that's really the biggest thing about arbitraging. The rent, your rent controls basically your margin. You know what I mean? That rent price controls that margin. So yeah, for sure.
And we have a few people pulling out of some of the properties we're managing because the rent is going up really high. So we're
that was another question, man. Me and my partner Mike were talking about that. Like, these rent prices are going up, like on these lease renewals. Now, the good thing about having a management or apartment complex is very low rated on Google. I'm not sure how much they're comfortable raising the rent if they're struggling with vacancy, because I see those emails that like the apartment complex I'm at, they're actually offering, hey, we'll give you a referral if you get some more people in to stay. And I actually called them. I was like, hey, are you guys doing any more corporate leases? And they said they aren't doing them at the time. I wasn't going to pick up anymore, but I was just going to be like, hey, we'd appreciate it if you guys don't. And, so I was like, I'm glad they said no. But yeah, maybe they don't go up on rent, because I have another friend. He's in a really, like one of those skyrise buildings, man. His rent went up $200, and my cousin's rent up in Frisco went up like $500. So yeah, that's why it's like it keeps pointing to, man, you got to have like some sort of equity play in there,
Yeah,
So,
it helps, and we're doing that. Our whole goal is to use the arbitrages and the management to use those profits to buy properties.
yeah.
I think
That's
that could be.
goal.
I think it could work together. We don't have to say, oh, everything we're going to run is only what we buy. We'll grow super slow, I would think. But if we use that money, and invest it into properties, and then we build equity that way and turn those into Airbnbs, and it just keeps feeding on itself.
Yeah, I use both. I use the arbitrage money. Well, I kind of use it as leverage, because I don't want to go buy, because a lot of people, even the people I know who are kind of using both, they're like taking the huge profits of 20% and then putting it down. And I'm like, you're going to grow just as slow on the buying side doing that. So that's why I was like, I'll use it as leverage, right? So you have that heavy cash flow coming in, you keep that heavy cash flow, and then you can like use hard money and take bits and pieces of it, then go get your money and just make it a revolving circle. Because that's been the issue I've been seeing as well. So yeah, you definitely want to do both. Use arbitrage. I tell people, use arbitrage to get off your 9 to 5 if you can. Real.
And that's the point, because and that's the other thing. Some people say only do management, only do arbitrage, and we're doing both, and the operation is the same. Yeah. But the goal is the ultimate goal is always going to be buying properties. I mean, when we first started, Steve told me, it's like, man, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna grow. We're gonna make money. But the goal is to buy property, have equity, and because that's the thing is, it's like you close it down a property, and what you're left is with depreciated furniture.
Facts.
Good news, Federico. We got our white girl.
A what? Oh, the picture.
Oh, you got your picture?
It was funny because we managed for somebody, right? Pretty little blondie, and she's a real cool girl. We managed a couple of 4 of her units, right? And it's funny because we're co-hosts on there, so it's still her picture, still her pretty white girl picture, and so. We've had units have troubles before with no hot water, shit like that. Stuff we can't really fix right away because the complex has to fix it. Anyways, this one dude was staying at her place, and he thinks he's talking to Rachel, right? Or whoever that girl we're managing is. I'm bad at that.
Keep saying my name, son. What's going on with you?
But she's cool. Anyways, he's like, okay, we already said Rachel, whatever. And he's like, hey, Rachel, it's been a few days now, still no hot water, but it's no big deal. It's actually the cold showers are refreshing, and my pants are fitting better now too. And I'm like, man, he thinks he's dealing with this pretty white girl, right? if it was one of our pictures out there,
no.
Listen, motherfucker, you better come fix this. And I told Fede, dude, we got to change our profile picture. Let's talk to Rachel, see if we can borrow one of her pictures.
Yeah, but that profile picture, bro. I'm telling you, this power in their profile picture, like that came up in another group. Someone asked a logo or your picture. Everyone who said use your own picture, you know who they look like. Other people, bro, you know the demographic of who they are. Other people, they were like I was like, man, it depends on what type of guest you want, and also where your property's located. That'll tell you what kind of picture you put up. So, for real, like if you want a certain type of guest, that picture helps you get a certain type of guest. It really does. Like people, because when we first started this podcast, me and Steve were experimenting with that tough. I remember Steve put a picture up of him and his family. And then he noticed he was getting all Mexican guests. I put a picture of me and my family. We were getting all black guests. Then we did the logos. Everybody was coming. Then we did the white girls. Everybody was coming, and they were happy. I'm for real. We did it. We tested this shit. This ain't shit we're making up.
Man. Yeah, I remember the episodes. That's long. That was before I guess I got started in all of this. I remember those episodes. That's fun. Yeah.
So I mean, people. I mean, it's just. I guess if you don't know, you might. Sometimes people live in a jaded world where they just don't know certain shit. I'm like, that profile picture has a shit. It has a lot about it.
Everyone is biased. I mean, you want it or not, it's part of human nature. It is what it is.
If a minority goes missing in this country, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. If a white girl goes missing, you gotta be on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all the channels gonna be looking for this white girl.
Oh man,
it's just how it is, man.
Shit's called Amber Alert. You know what the hell that means? But yeah, it's power in that profile picture. I've even, man, I'm gonna try to get my guy Mike, not that Mike, a different Mike on, man. He has a funny way of getting certain guests. Like he has a property in the hood, and he was like, he changed his profile picture to himself. So then he's like, I hope they know what they're expecting, and he got better guests.
And that area. Man, setting the expectation is so important.
Yeah,
because going back to those properties we have in Dallas in Lower Greenville. The area, I mean, it's great for young people. It's great. But if you are not from that target, you're not going to have a good time. If you're, an old married couple, you're definitely not going to have a good time. If you're a young couple, you're going to love it. And that's what we're experiencing. So we were actually, we've been working, and I developed something that we need to finally implement, but I have the count and everything. And it's having a second brand that Steve came with the name. What's the name, Steve?
Jeune.
It's
kind of
I remember you saying that.
Jeune. Jeune. It's youthful. It means youthful in French.
Yeah. I was like, okay, we need to let people know that what we want here is young people, because that's one lesson that I got from 2021. It's like, you want to get every booking. You want to get every booking because you want to make sure you're making money, you're getting profits, and you're having a high occupancy. And that's going to get you in trouble for two things, because you're going to get guests that are not a good fit for your property. And that's going to end up with a bad review or refund the stay or whatever it is, right? And then sometimes, because you don't want to put too many barriers into them getting, going through the booking, like security deposit and verifying the ID and those kind of things, just because you want to get the booking, you end up with bad guests. So I think those are two big things I learned in 2021. It's like, okay, not all guests are going to be suitable for your place, and sometimes it's just better to say no or to avoid some guests.
And another thing is, man, I want to say this, but then you can try to write it all in the listing, but it doesn't always work. But try to write as much as you can in that listing description.
Yeah.
And get direct bookings as much as you can.
Yeah. Turn left at the third crackhead, and then at the meth lab, take a right, and there you are. Just hop the fence and you're in.
I did that something like, this is an up-and-coming area, and even mentioned like there are homeless people around the area. It's never been a safety issue for any of our guests.
Hold on, you tell them it's homeless people over there?
I put it in this description. We never had another complaint.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the area, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they're in the area. I mean, it's a safe area. They're not a threat, not a safety issue, but they're in the area. Because what is it?
The thing about homeless people, that doesn't bother me. That bothers some people. I'm gonna tell you a story. That was just so weird to me. I just didn't really notice it. I was working this contract job, and we had all went out to lunch, right? And the guy was looking for a place to park, and we were going to Buffalo Wild Wings or Pluckers. Buffalo Wild Wings, I think. And like he found this parking spot, and I was in the front seat. He was in the front seat. And we had two more coworkers in the back, And I got out the car and started walking up. But I guess it was this homeless dude over there. I had seen him, but it didn't bother me. It was a homeless guy. He's just sleeping on the. This guy walked all the way around the car to my side and walked in this way. He's like, yeah, it's a homeless guy over there. I'm like, what's he about to do? Fucking mug you in the middle of the day? Like, in front of Plucker? I'm in front of the Wild Wings place, man. I'm like, but some people have, but that just tells you a certain demographics that just ain't comfortable with that. It's a demographic thing. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Mug us? Man, it's 12 o'clock, bro. Man, he's about to hop out of his sleeping bag. Hey, give me your shit. I'm just saying, like, stuff like that don't bother me, but it's certain demographics that shit bothers, But that's cool.
It's better to have them skip for and look for another property. So what I did, and this is something pretty cool. I work on the description, and what I did is like I put a few of those things. It's like, this is what you're gonna expect. This is young, for example. This property is like, this is gonna be young people in the property. On the weekends, you may experience noise. Just let them know that may happen. And again, just letting them know, for most of our guests, it's never been an issue. Same with the homeless. And then I put another thing that's pretty cool. I added at the bottom, right at the end of the description, I put deals and discounts. I explained, like, we have midweek specials and we have long stay discount as well. Inquire. Since you get to this point, you read all the details. We'd love to host you. Mention this word, and I put like a secret word, and you're gonna get a $15 off your first night. And then people like that. So people are coming, they're sending the booking request or they're sending an inquiry. It's like, and they send the word and say how it works. And we say, okay, when you check in, we're gonna refund $15 from your stay. And it's been working.
Pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, I put that. I put, you need to mention pepperoni pizza, and we're gonna get you a discount. It's funny, it creates like it automatically creates an engagement with the possible guest. Or the
now,
guest
of all the people that have mentioned pepperoni pizza, what's the percentage that have left 5-star reviews?
I haven't checked. That's a good question, but I'll say all of them because they're all being super friendly and that's the type of guest you want to have. I mean, sometimes, you want someone that's reading what you're putting in out there. So
yeah,
that's a fact, man.
It is a pretty cool little hack right there. Pepperoni puts whatever your secret word is, put it way at the bottom, right? So they have to read everything to get to it, and then they'll ask for a discount at the end. Oh, by the way, pepperoni pizza. Me when I see the message come across, I'm like, fuck, they got us for $15.
That's also a great way to know if they're reading.
Yeah, they read everything.
I like that. That's a great way to know if they're reading.
Yeah, and I have it only on a few, not in all of them because I've been testing it out, but I think we need to roll that out to every property.
He's beta testing it, right? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. That's a good idea, man. So y'all are really growing this year, man. Y'all done got up to what, almost 50 units? And man,
around
50. Now, how many are you managing and how many are you arbitraging yourselves?
I don't have the numbers at the top of my head, like quickly, but I can tell you, like, I'll say 20% is arbitrage and the rest is
management.
Managed. Yeah.
Now, which do y'all like better?
To be 100% honest, for me, it's almost the same. The only difference, I'll say even more. I put more energy in the properties we manage for the people than I put in the ones that we arbitrage because I really want our clients to do great. So that's a fact. But it's the same. I mean, it's just having managed for the people is the pressure to make sure you are performing so they're not losing money. Or they're even more, they're making the most out of the property. That's what you want. I mean, that's the objective. They're making the most out of the property, and of course, they're not losing money. And especially, like, I've been really stressed the past few weeks. Well, when a property is underperforming, when you're managing for someone, it's really stressing because your client it has an expectation, and probably have one property. They're not very involved in the STR world. They just did it as an investment. I want to see their returns. I was like, hey, man, this is your profit for the month. And I know this is not what you're expecting to have every month. This is what happened. If I feel like I'm excuse myself because I was sure like Houston, right? I was saying I sent him the email today, actually this morning. I was like, this is how the market's looking. Did we do better than the market did? Yes, we did. Did we do everything we could during this month? Yes, we did. This is the result.
Something that just crossed my mind right now, Fede, with because when it is stressful when we do have a bad month for a client, but there's some months that they just totally kill it, right? And they make like 2,000, 3,000 in profit. And so that's what, when you look at the stock market on Google, you Google S&P 500 or whatever, the stock market, and then you see like whatever week that you're in and you see it just dip down. It's depressing to look at. Or you see and you pull it back. Okay, the month was down, but you pull it back a little bit. Okay, 3 months was right here. 5 months is here. The last 10 years, it's like this. If we could do something like that for our clients, okay, yeah, here's your monthly projection. This is compared to what you're paying out, what you made. And then they make it where this is where the last 3 months, and so they can see like they're actually doing good overall for the past year. It's been going like this. Yes, they had but so that wouldn't make the month look that much of a dip. You know what I'm saying? If we could show them something like that might.
Oh, definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, we're working on the travel industry, and this is seasonal, right? Again, I have years of experience in the airline industry. It's kind of the same. There are going to be seasons where you're going to be making more money, higher occupancy, higher rates, and then you have the low seasons. So I know, and that's for sure. It's just that pressure that we know that and we understand that, but the people who are just doing this for an investment may not fully understand that, and that's the only thing. At the end of the day, it's about it. It's like it's demand and how we did great for what the market was offering. But yeah. That's it.
Yeah. I just thought that would be a cool thing that we could show them. Overall for the past year, you kicked a lot of ass.
Especially, that's one thing we talk with Steve all the time. Especially when we have a new client, Zoom call, from boarding, because you have the first call and they're like, yeah, we set it up. This is how much I invested, and I'm expecting to recover my investment in 5 months because I'm expecting to make $1,000 a month since the first month. And that's because and that's something that is something we are all sinners of doing this. Like we of course in social media and YouTube and all the gurus and everyone, you're gonna show your profits and all the great thing. But the truth is that some properties are going to take longer to make $1,000 a month, especially if it's a one bed, one bath, right?
Fact, yeah.
So people are coming, they're coming new to the market and they're coming with these expectations, high expectations on how much they want to make, and you need to bring them down to earth and say, okay, listen, this is how it's going to work. It's going to take a while to pick up. It's like, for example, a house, when you put it out in the market, you're not going to get the last minute booking for a large house. Because people who travel to a house book far in advance, and if you want to put a house at a low rate to get a book last minute, you're gonna get bad guests.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of that, we almost got sniped for WrestleMania for one of our houses. Fede had to step in and say, "Don't accept that booking."
Where's WrestleMania? When's WrestleMania?
It's here.
Where?
It's here.
Yeah.
Again? In Arlington?
It's been like 7, 8 years ago when it came here. Yeah.
First to
because I remember
the fourth.
I remember the last very blatantly the last time it has been like 7 or 8 years.
So it's 4 days now, April 1st through the 4th.
Yeah.
Well, those are the days that we have the prices high.
WrestleMania brings people out. I traveled on WrestleMania weekend, leaving Dallas, and it was the last day, and everyone was flying out. Man, it was just like people wearing face paint and shit to the airport. I'm like, man, people still watch wrestling, man. Bitch, hey, I ain't gonna lie. Just on some business side shit, if you ever want to run a successful company that never stops, cater it to children. Vince McMahon and the WWE are the perfect example because kids are always being born. Like I'm talking, it's like it was. People dressed up as The Rock in the airport. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Then I start seeing the signs that said WrestleMania because I was flying back home to Portland that weekend because it was like my birthday or something. But it was crazy. You're right. Yeah, that is one gem that if your city hosts a WrestleMania, man, load up on your prices, dude. Load up on your prices,
Dude,
man.
Sinatra's unit, it's not booked for WrestleMania yet, right?
No.
Fede? We should.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
nice.
the rates are really high. You got it up. You got them up really high.
Man, Price Lab did a great thing over there. I went to Price Lab. I never saw Price Lab pushing the price so high.
No,
Like, what are they doing?
did you change your name?
Huh?
Did you change the name to like WrestleMania Event House or something like that?
No, I need to do it.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna put a
Okay.
picture of WrestleMania, whatever number it is, and
That's something we need to start doing more, is putting pictures on the events that are coming up. Because something I did in some of the properties at some point that worked
And-
really well. What I did is I went to Canva. I use Canva a lot, for design. And I took a screenshot of the Google Maps and I put a star on the property, and then I put like the different areas in like Fort Worth and the
Mhm.
distance, and then another one like a larger map where you have the distance to DFW and to the stadiums and everything. I think that's something that's working.
Man, dude, let me tell you about Canva. I love Canva. I use Canva to get long-term stays on Airbnb. I create so every one of my listings that I have, like my ones that I own or that I arbitrage, I create a Canva listing and I have like the main picture of the listing, but then I make the background transparent and then I write on it fully furnished and all utilities paid with our logo on it, and then our Facebook and then a Facebook and Instagram symbol on the bottom. So then they'll know, they can either Google me or they'll book. They're more inclined to book long term. Yeah, if you got, that's a plug right there. Put fully furnished, all utilities paid on a Canva, and then put it as your main profile picture. So all my listings are like that. It's the same one, fully furnished, all utilities paid. And that might be how I landed that monthly booking in slow ass Houston at a very premium rate. So yeah, man, definitely do that.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something to your audience that's gonna have like a tip.
Mhm.
If you want to use Canva for pictures on your Airbnb, I'm gonna tell you the size that Airbnb uses for pixels, so you can make optimal pictures for your SEO. And that's 1024 pixels by 683 pixels. That's the size Airbnb uses. So if you go to Canva, you go to upper right corner and you go to create a design, and you have the option to do a custom size. Because you're gonna have multiple options, right? But those options are not gonna be the ones that fit into Airbnb image size.
Mhm.
So that's the optimal size when you are designing your own pictures and putting your even your sometimes photographer pictures, they send some pictures that are not the exact size. So I always resize them to the exact size so they fit properly.
I might need to do that. That is dope. That was a good one. But yeah, I didn't realize how powerful Canva's trying to put Photoshop out of business. But yeah, I didn't realize how powerful Canva
Man,
is.
my wife is a graphic designer. She's so pissed off. It's like, anyone can be a graphic designer now. And that's the power of no code. That's the power of no code that I was mentioning to you before. It's like, before, if you wanted to create any type of app for your business, you should go, to these companies. It will be thousands of dollars. Right now, I can create an app for myself for anything that I need. I have an app for my cleaners to take the pictures after each cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
the power in that's someone asked on Bigger Pockets the other day, how hard is it to manage your own property? I'm like, with all the things that are out there, it is really kind of easy. If you have you need team communication, guest communication, and how to automate your cleanings. All that stuff exists.
Mm-hmm.
It exists. Like like Zapier, that thing is powerful.
It is.
Like you can like right now, someone like my VA put a maintenance request in, and Zapier just sends it to my email. Hey, this maintenance request is putting in on this, on this unit. It's man, Zapier, it's crazy, bro.
It's if you Google something, you're gonna find out a tool to do it. There's something for everything. Like it's funny. Steve was like, Steve is the one that usually manages, dealing with the troll nurses, and sometimes he needs to email the access information. So I found an app where you can put a text, put it in that app, create a link. You click on that link, and it automatically populates an email
mm-hmm.
with all the information, and you just need to put the sender. And those things are amazing.
Dude.
I mean, just sit down for 20. Like, if you have a problem, that's something that's for me. It's like if I have a problem or something that's tedious, I sit down 30 minutes, maybe with a beer. And I say, okay, how do we solve this? What's out in Google? And there's always an answer.
Facts,
For most of it, there's gonna be an answer.
Ask your team. They'll know.
Yeah.
Like somebody will know, man. That's why it's good to hire people. Because that's why I'm happy everyone's in Slack, and then I can ask a question and somebody will have the answer. Oh, but you can use this to do that. You can use this. It's so much stuff out there, dude. Like technology is now becoming part of just a common man can do anything. Like that's how a lot of people avoided tech, because like, man, this shit's so, now anybody can do it,
Mm-hmm.
So
it's powerful.
Anybody can do it.
It's a two-part question, Myka.
Yeah.
How has quitting your job affected your business? Okay. And do you wish you would have quit sooner?
Ooh, how it's affected my business? It's given me the time to grow it. It's giving me the time to focus on what actually needs my attention, and giving me the time to actually be able to find out what is tedious and move it off my plate. And do I wish I would have quit sooner? No, I think I quit at the right time.
How do you know it was the right time?
Things just fell into place. And me being remote for like a year, and me starting to see how much money I was saving, how much money was coming in, and like, oh, I don't have to buy lunch every day. What if I did that while I didn't have to work a job? I could still keep that same money. And I had just read Profit First. It had changed my mindset on business. I think I did it at the right time. Like everything fell into place at the right time.
Because I know you were thankfully laid off a few years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was like a blessing, right? You got laid off, so you got the unemployment. So you were still getting paid, and plus you were just running your business 100%. But then you went back to the work world. How was that transition? That's
a good question. The reason why I went back was because I did not know how to manage my cash flow, and I didn't understand business. I was depending upon like money that was coming in from my timeshares. Like that would always be there. I didn't understand the hustle, And it's funny you brought that up. When I quit this time, me and Mahogany talked about that when I quit, when I got laid off the first time. And we really analyzed it to realize me getting laid off the first time is what set me up to leave the second time. Because now I'm ready, I'm prepared, and I understand what it takes for me to leave. I understand how to pay myself, how to make sure I can pay myself till all my bills are paid, and then I still have my business running. So that's really what it was. It was a learning lesson. Everything was a learning lesson. It set me up to be here where I am today.
Nice. And Fede, how is quitting your job affected your business?
Man, I mean, it's similar to what Myka mentioned. First of all, for the business, I mean, it's the greatest thing ever because I could finally sit down and do, I had so many ideas in my mind, things I wanted to do, right? And finally, I had the time to sit down and start, improving and optimizing everything I had in mind. So yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. So Steve, another question to you. What's keeping you at the 9 to 5?
What's keeping me there? Just some loose ends I wanna tie up. A few little debts I need to pay off, and then I'll have no excuses, man. And I set a date. Yeah, I set the date, September 27th, which is the day before my birthday.
Nice.
To jump ship. And I'm just getting everything organized and like you said, doing the deep evaluation on money in, money out, how to keep track of all that. I've never been good at budgeting. I've never been good at any of that stuff, but I need to really, really dive into that and get a nice, and I'm not going to be crazy about the budget. I make it doable, but I need to set something up. Get these last little debts paid off, and then I'll have no excuses, man, because the business is pretty much making more than me and Fede were making, so that's it's still scary. It's still scary.
What are your fears?
Well, here's my fear, because our business is primarily set up on on arbitrages and managing other people, right? And so and yes, we bought our first property, and that's cool. But I guess my thing is, what happens if all these cities start banning Airbnb? And that's one of my biggest fears, you know. Mm-hmm. I think the cat's out of the bag. I think it's like kind of like Uber now, where it's just, I mean, it's not gonna, you know, they tried to do all that stuff with Uber back in the beginning, and it was just too big. It was too in demand of a technology, and Airbnb is too in demand for all these cities to start, you know, getting rid of it. And so I don't think it could happen. I think, but it's still a fear of mine that just all these regulations are going to start happening. And we'll lose a lot of business, and then we'll be back to not making very much monthly, you know, income.
I'm happy you brought that up, because that was one thing that bothers me. That's why I'm like out of the arbitrage game, and I'm gonna tell you why. Me leaving my 9 to 5, I can't depend upon arbitrages because I don't own them and there's no equity. Therefore, there's no backup arbitrage, right? So the reason why I hopped into buying was because now I'm backed by equity if I buy at the right price and I buy a good deal. And I notice young people, they more or less chase cash, right? They just chase cash. But we all know cash is trash. You got to have, remember, my end goal's right there. My end goal says a 1 mil plus line of credit. That's what I want. Then I can be free to make the moves I want to make. So your fears are absolutely right. You got to have those fears like, oh shit. Mine isn't for city banning. Mine is like, okay, what if this lease renewal is too high? What if they don't want to renew the lease? Oh shit, I only got 10 of them that are on leases. What happens, you know? So, but we're really good with the management company, the management who manages those apartments. But yeah, that is something that looms in my mind, but I know the answer to that fear. Go own some shit. So that's why I know that answer is there. So now I'm hustling. Go home. So you got to find, okay, if that's your fear that they're going to ban it, your fear is they're banning Airbnbs, right? Okay, be in a market or have units where if Airbnb's gone today, can I still make money as a corporate or anything else? Then you look at that instead of looking at the fear of banning, because the fear of banning, if you're driving 200 miles around a curb and you're just focusing on the fear of banning, you're going to hit that wall. But if you focus on the opportunity, I can corporate lease, I can do this, it would be successful.
That's the thing.
Yeah. And that's always on my mind, the middle to long term, you know, and luckily we've been doing pretty good at getting those. Like, especially if something slows down for any reason, we can fill it with a travel nurse. I'm pretty good at that. But being able to, that's also it. I mean, I don't think, I mean, this country is kind of built on rental properties, right? In a way. And I don't think they'll ever ban like renting out your place 30 days or more. I don't think that'll ever happen, right? 30 days or less, okay, there might be some crazy shit going on and they ban it. They blame it for poverty, and they blame it for housing crisis, and they blame it for everything. They try to ban it. But 30 days plus, I don't see that ever happening. And if you figure out we're working on that. If you figure out how to always do good in that range, you know, the mid-term rentals to long-term rentals, then you'll be all right. Then there's always going to be a need for furnished places too, I think.
Definitely. And we're great at that.
Yeah. So it's a fear, but hey, the fear is what motivates us, right?
Yeah.
Now, Myka, I have a question for you, because every morning I see your Instagram stories about the book that you're reading. I always take a note. So, top 3 books that help you, because you were mentioning, you know, about your goals, and you know, it's like every time I listen to you, I learn so much. So, top 3 books for anyone out there, you know, that is, you know, growing their company.
Growing their company. This book I'm reading right now, Relentless. That book will fucking push you to a level of like, oh shit, and I'm only 40 something pages in. Relentless is a mindset book. After Relentless, I'll tell you Profit First. That's a business book, how to run your business. The book that helped me get to where I am, the BRRRR book. Yeah, those 3 helped me really. And another one, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. That one, like, I was like, oh shit. Like he really broke down when you're buying, the power of buying real estate, and you don't have to hit a home run on the deal, just look at, like how Steve said, how you look at that chart and it's doing this.
Mhm.
It's the same thing. He goes, keep looking at that chart and you keep buying properties. You might turn around one day, like, you know, you might be a millionaire. I don't know if you guys saw that last Bigger Pockets interview. That dude was scrubbing toilets, but he was buying properties. And this guy, he was like, you know, and he started talking to this guy about what he does. And he's like, well, man, you own all these properties, you know, how much are you worth? And he said he didn't know. And then he went home and did the calculations. He was a fucking millionaire and didn't even know it. And he was scrubbing toilets. He didn't even know it. He was just like,
wow.
He was just like, I was listening to Bigger Pockets. They said invest your money in real estate, but he was, you know, scrubbing toilets. You was an average dude, but he was a millionaire. He didn't even know he was a millionaire.
Wow.
But, you know, and
that's the beauty of America, man.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities. I mean, I'm telling you, from coming from a country where, because I know there are a lot of things going on and people, you know, it's a lot of divided. So I can send a message for the people over there. I come from a country that at some point it was in the same level of opportunity of America, right? So during the Second World War, Argentina was providing food to every country. We're not in war, and we're in the same level of United States in every aspect. And we screw up, and we have 100% inflation year over year and things like that. And making business here is very difficult. So something that I love about America, man, is that you have opportunities to go out there. If you hustle, if you work hard, you're gonna make it.
That is true.
So that's something I appreciated so much about United States. So
that's fact, man. And that's what I always try to teach people about, using those opportunities to your advantage. But you just got to know those opportunities are there. And I think that's why, like, when people come here from a different country, they're looking at, it's like I just said, they're driving 200 miles an hour. We as Americans, we sometimes focus on the wall of all the bad shit on CNN and Fox that's going on. We don't turn and look at, oh, well, let me take advantage of this opportunity. Immigrants, man, they take advantage of that opportunity because they're like, shit, I came from the bottom. I got to make it in America. So yeah, facts. It definitely is an opportunity. You just got to take advantage of them. And also the schooling system and shit plays into part of that. But, you know, in America, you know, they don't teach us shit about those opportunities.
Yeah, you just don't know geography for some reason. It's like, that's something I find funny.
You know. Say it again.
No, I always find funny that people, you know, in America, you're so bad at geography.
They don't teach us geography.
Yeah, it's like only 3 countries. Yeah, Africa, Europe, and Asia. Like,
they don't know. I remember this dude. Who was it? Was it Bill Burr? He made a joke about like Americans' mindsets. He goes, yeah, Americans, man. He goes, yeah, we're pretty fucked up minded. We go to like these. We look at people and we say these people are minorities. He said he went to Africa with his friend and he said, man, look at all these minorities. Like, you're an African dipshit. You're the minority. But it's the mindset of people being in America, never leaving. He goes, we're the minority, dipshit.
I remember it's kind of funny because thinking of the politically correct stuff. But you know how here in the United States we say African American. You know, we're supposed to say African American, right? And this lady was doing an interview. This news lady was doing an interview with an actual African, right? Yeah. And she kept saying it over and go. Oh, so being an African American, she didn't want to say. He's like, I'm African. And she just kept saying, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so how does an African American? He's not American at all, but she's
from Nigeria.
She's so used to saying, I have to say African American to anything, any black person that I see. I have to say African American.
Check it out. That's the crazy part about America. You have the opportunity to fucking travel anywhere. You can just simply learn, just travel. I tell you all the time, man, travel. Just simple traveling opens up your mind. Like, that's why I think, Steve, because you've been to, I don't know how many countries. Federico, you've been to so many countries. You know, just travel, man. So, but yeah,
especially if you're in the Airbnb world. I mean, that's something that I definitely brought up into a company. I've been to over 60 countries, and I slept in so many different places, from high-end hotels in New York City to, you know, shitty places in Eastern Europe where you'll be scared to stay one night. Pods, you know, the capsules in Japan. I slept in so many airports, people's houses, everywhere. I mean, you know, and you understand what people are going through when you're dealing with your own guests. I think that's very important. At the end of the day, and you know, we took all of this business and ideas on how to run it better. But at the end of the day, you need to think there's a person opening the door, staying at your place for a reason, and usually it's a special occasion, because everyone that's traveling and staying somewhere out of the house is for an occasion. It could be something good, it could be something bad. And the experience that you're providing is something that's going to stay with them forever. And that's when you get return customers and everything, right? But I think that's so important. And, I was on Steve, I saw the other day a meme that said, when you open to a hotel room and you get into a hotel room, the only thing you can say is, this is very nice, right? There's a meme, something like that. I don't think about the people, getting to our places, because we have some pretty freaking nice places, designed very well by Sarah. Places are lovely. I wonder, I would love to see people stepping into our properties and what they say. Because at the end of the day, it's vacations, going to visit family, funerals. You have so many things, and if you just grow up, it's something they're gonna remember as well.
Facts. That's a fact.
Great episode, guys.
Yeah, it was a good episode, man. But yeah, man, I hope y'all listeners, y'all learned something from it, man. It's a lot we go through, but man, you just got to keep pushing through it, man. I definitely recommend that book, Relentless, man. That reminded me why Kobe Bryant was my favorite athlete. That dude was a different animal, like the stories he tells about Kobe. But yeah, man, thank y'all for listening. And
real quick, speaking of books, I finally read The Richest Man in Babylon. You ever read that?
That is on my book list. Did I read it a long time ago? No, I haven't. I got to read that.
You read that, Fede?
No.
Richest Man in Babylon. It just talks about wealth building back, but telling these old timey, kind of the biblical era stories, just made up stories, but in that language, and people are doing back then. But it's always been the same thing, right? It's always wealth building. It's always been the same thing. Put aside 10% of your money to save and invest, and then invest your money smartly into things that is going to make it grow, and then work hard, and then. But it even brings up, this one guy, this opportunity to invest in these jewels and whatever. I trusted this guy. I gave him my money and I lost all my money. It just reminds me, even since then, there's been all these schemes to take people's money, right? But if you just follow that path, invest smart, and then work hard, and instead of set money aside, right, you're gonna be successful. There's no way you're not gonna be successful. And I think about this era, we got the cryptocurrency, which you were dogging on, and then the NFTs now. I mean, people are putting a picture of themselves using the bathroom and selling an NFT for like $10 million. Stupid shit, right? And it's like, and so people are like, oh, that's the thing. I'm gonna put my money in here. Oh, Dogecoin. Oh, this. Oh, that. Oh, the NFTs. And it's just like. And 99% of those fuckers are going to lose the money, right? The people that got in at first that made all the money is the big Ponzi scheme, but most of them are going to lose their money. So, but that's the thing. People just want to get rich. They want all these shortcuts, but there's no shortcuts, man. You work hard, you invest smart, it compounds, and then you use that money to invest more. I mean, it's simple, right? It's simple.
Facts.
But yeah, that's what we're here for, to make y'all rich.
Right, you end it, man. Yeah, thank y'all for continuing to listen, man. And you can follow us on Instagram, email us, and all that is below. And remember to like and subscribe.
Hit that like button, smash it.
Hell yeah, and keep subscribing, man. We got a bunch of subscribers coming in. I don't know what happened. I don't know. So yeah, keep on subscribing. And thank y'all.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Out.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.